All right, I'm here with Eddie Chambers. We're in the press conference room after the Steve Cunningham-Tomas Adamek rematch. Eddie recently fought Tomas, and with one arm, arguably won the fight. I thought you won. A lot of people thought you won, but it was still a close fight. This fight wasn't really that close. Do you think?
I didn't think so either. What do you? Okay. Be a little bit Honestly, I didn't think it was a very close fight either. I thought, beyond the first few rounds, there was a few rounds that you could have given Tomas, based on that late surge which he tries to do every round. And I think Steve caught on to it after the first two, rounds. Third round dominated. I think he controlled the fight basically throughout the rest of the fight. And it raises the question, what do you have to do to beat Tomas Adamek?
Right.
I mean, he did try to come on at the end of the rounds and throw a combination. Most rounds he didn't really get anything off significantly. In fact, he got hit with a couple of good shots, on the back end. So it becomes really difficult to, figure out how he got the decision. But all you got to do is look at my fight, the last fight we've had, and see why he's able to. He's getting decisions he's awarded decisions he doesn't deserve.
Do fighters, protest the judges they're assigned before the fight?
Sometimes. Sometimes they say, well, I want certain, no, I don't like that judge. But really not much you can do because, the sanctioning organization decides who the judges are and they appoint. So when you hear judges, the only thing you really can make a decision on is whether or not the judge is from a certain area. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if a judge is from America, Poland or somewhere in Germany, anywhere, anywhere in the world. You can, I guess, have some kind of say on that. Maybe one of the judges or two, whatever. You may have the nod on that, and sometimes. But for the most part, they say if you're making a stink about that early, then they'll look into it. But you really can't do but so much to control it. Refereeing I think is a different thing. I think you can kind of, ask for a certain referee and get appointed, maybe. But the judging is pretty much the organization they take care of.
Okay. Now, during the press conference, Tomas, when asked, pretty much acted like, Steve wasn't hurting him with anything. Like he said it was just like a sparring match. But during the fight, it looked like he was buckled, hurt, a few times.
Yeah.
You thought so too.
Honestly, there were some shots that I thought that if he would have picked it up at one point, I think it was in the 7th round, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that he landed a good combination. And to me, it looks as if he picked it up a little bit. Maybe Tomas would have kind of, hold up, and maybe hurt him. And then there was other times in the fight where he landed perfect shots, right hands, counter right hand, a couple check hooks, nice punches, and combinations was also. So it kind of made me think that he hurt him. I don't know about the whole sparring session thing, but I guess. And I'm not the kind of person who will lie. I got hit in the fight and I felt it out of my head. I felt it. You know what I mean? But I guess, to what it seems, maybe he wasn't. You know what I mean? Because I just don't think that a guy would say something like that and being a fighter and knowing what it takes to be in there. You know what I mean? And honestly, if I believe I lost a fight, I would say as well. I'll give you an example. I fought Alexander Povetkin. Right. And though I was dominating the fight early and I felt like
First four rounds.
And the next 2 rounds were close, and then he took the rest. I thought maybe, okay, not that I won the fight, I thought that it was closer than what the judges had, but admittedly, I know I lost the fight because I allowed him. He didn't beat me, I beat him. You know what I mean? And when I look at this fight, I'm saying, man, it hurt him a few times, but, it's a sparring session. Doesn't seem really like it.
Yeah, and Tomas, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, that's what makes me really more want to believe the fact that maybe he wasn't hurt. But then again, sometimes you don't want to show things. I mean, there's a lot of times you see fighters that, I was okay, I wasn't hurt. Your legs don't do that to you if you're not hurt. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, do you think, obviously, we know how he feels right now, but when he goes back and looks at the tape, do you think he's going to, be able to?
He'll be able to
notice.
The thing is, with my fight, the way he talked in the press conference, he felt he lost the fight. I believe he felt in his mind, but couldn't say it. He's been coached to say, hey, you can't handle it. we got these gifts for a reason. You're a star. You're enough of a star at Poland. We have all this money backing us. We have these different things going on. You're not going to lose a fight if you're standing up. You can't go out there and say, even if you feel that you lost, that you lost. You understand? You gotta just keep playing the role. Keep playing. You know what I mean? You gotta keep going along. You know what I mean? To get along, you gotta go along. And he's doing it. Because I believe that he's lost more than just against Chad Dawson and Vitaly Klitschko.
Well, yeah. To you and anybody else, you want to name him?
Steve Cunningham.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? And so another thing that Steve mentioned when he was fighting Chris Arreola, right. He was moving. Right. The whole fight, getting around the ring, for combinations and moving. It wasn't running then.
Right.
It wasn't being defensive then. You know what I mean? It wasn't being so afraid then or worried about what's coming. It was called boxing, right? Well, so when someone else does it to you, what's that? Right. You know what I'm saying? I just think in all fairness, if a guy wins a fight, he should get the decision. And I'm not picking on any organization or anybody in particular. I'm not going to say names like those things that were said in the press conference. But I will say that if we don't clean this up, we're going to lose a lot of fan support.
Yes. What is it like, boxing coming back to NBC? It's network television. A lot of people were tuning into this that weren't expecting to see boxing. It was just on, and all of a sudden, they see a horrendous decision. That bad for the sport.
It honestly does. And this is what happens. Turn the fight on. You're watching an exciting fight. It was a very exciting fight, very interesting. But you saw one guy win. But anyway, you turn it on. Oh, boxing. Oh, I haven't seen boxing in some years. Oh man, this is good. Let's watch this fight. You and your wife sitting, and your kids. You know what I mean? Watching a nice boxing match, right? So the fight goes on. And watching, oh, this guy's good. This Cunningham guy, he's winning, blah, blah, blah. And you watch it all of a sudden, the judges, first of all, the scorecards was confused. You know what I mean? Michael Buffer were the best announcers of all time. Makes a mistake.
Already in the Hall of Fame.
And already in the Hall of Fame, right? And it makes a mistake, right? And he makes a mistake. He makes a mistake on the scorecards, right? You find out, instead it goes from a draw, which would have been a travesty too, it goes to now giving the other guy the decision. And then you look and you're watching like, hey man, that was a real good fight. I thought the other guy won. All of a sudden you see the decision, it's like, man, that's why I stopped watching boxing before. That's what happened. You just wave it off and you never watch it again. That's what's happening to boxing. A lot of people are seeing this and it's hurting us in the process. Cruiserweight should be a hot division. All these divisions you think should be hot divisions because boxing should still be where it was.
Right, now speaking of cruiserweight, you're making a move down to cruiserweight.
That's why I mentioned it.
You recently just got called out by Dennis Lebedev after he got I believe a 4th round knockout. The opponent's name is slipping my mind. Santander Salgado. Right. It was a nice knockout, but the opponent, he wasn't experienced, and you would present a big step up for him. Lebedev, he's had, Roy Jones come over to Russia to fight him. I think James Toney, picking on the old guys. Now he's looking for, a young prime fighter like yourself, to really make a name for himself. Are you willing to go to Russia to fight him, or does he? He said he wants to come and fight in Madison Square Garden. Yeah,
right. So I really applaud him for deciding to want to issue that challenge. This is what boxing really needs. Champions who are willing to fight the best. Of course, the fighters he's fought before were past their primes and things like that, but this is what boxing needs. Aside from all the horrid decisions we've been seeing recently, and a number of different fights, except for the knockouts. And I really, like I said, I really applaud him. And not only would I really be interested in the fight, looking forward to the opportunity, but what it would do for me is provide me with an opportunity to really come along, from the dead in a sense, because of the injuries and all the problems I've had in the past. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate the opportunity, but he's in for something else. I think he's in for a little something different than what he's been used to in these last few fights.
So how have negotiations started for that yet?
Not just yet. I mean, well, there were in talks, but we still got a lot more to do. There's a lot more, dialogue to go through. Different things. The venue they're talking about may not. Who knows?
Right, you might not be able to get Madison Square Garden.
It might have to be something else or somewhere else. Right now, it's just very preliminary talks. I'm not sure if Alpha he really wants to go with it, or because I'm all in. But I still gotta, of course, check my body and make sure that I'm 100%. I feel great. I've never felt better, just like I did before the Tomas Adames fight. So I'm just looking forward to the opportunity. So.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be happy. The first fight coming down to the division, you get a world champion.
And not only am I getting a world champion, I'm getting them calling me out.
Yeah.
Like I'm the world champion, which is actually good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. So.
Thank you. I really appreciate that because that helps me.
Well, I really hope the fight comes off.
Yes, sir.
All right, and best of luck to you.
Thanks.